Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Bill Williams on the Influencers Podcast. It's Friday morning, and we're finishing our day of podcast off with the CMO of Engineer Growth Systems, Chris Goegan. I want to bring him on right now. He's from Mission Viejo, California, and he's agreed to get up early and talk to us here on the East Coast. So thank you very much for being with us, Chris.
My pleasure. Thanks for allowing me to be here, Dr. Bill.
Absolutely. Well, we want to highlight you and your company, what you do. I was interested when we were talking earlier, you're a systems guy and you really help people do things in the right way, organized, systematic. Let's get into what you are doing, how you got started, what inspired you to do this today?
Well, there's a couple different things. Well, one was I always want to be in business for myself. Like I remember I just graduated from one of the top engineering schools in the country and was looking at being an engineer. And then my dad, right at that same time, my dad, who was a loyal company man, lost his job. He was a year away from retirement. And so he lost about a third of his pension. And so he had to go and find a job somewhere else. And it was a really rough time for him. And I just remember saying, like, that's a loyalty that you get. That's a payday that you get for being loyal for somebody for so long. So I always want to do something on my own. And then how I got to where I got to am today, it's not by design. It's by my design anyhow. It's just like the hand of God moving me and dragging me through different stages of the journey. So that would be a much longer answer to give you the full one. But how I got to where I was, just a combination of not wanting to do what my dad did, want to be off my own, and then God just had a plan for me and just brought me along.
Well, you've been doing it, I think, for, you said 31 years. You've been kind of your own boss. You've done your own thing. What about things that didn't work out? I always want to find out what happened when you ran up against an obstacle and you had a failure. Was there one thing that kind of separated out your life because you had a failure, then you moved on and were successful?
It was just because I've had a lot of failures, and going from engineering to sales, I had massive failure, because I'd been using what I've been doing for years. I knew the product really well, but I didn't understand the people part. So I thought product knowledge meant everything, and I was wrong, and I failed miserably, and then I started getting good, and then I decided, okay, well, I'm going to go straight into just a straight commission with this company I was working with, and as soon as that happened, I lost my biggest client. And it's like, that was a massive failure. So it's just like kind of like a lot of failures along the way. But the biggest thing is just resiliency, just getting up and just shrugging it off and just, sure. I cried a little bit at times and had some rough days, but you know what? Hey, if God's in control, if God's leading me through this, I just need to be resilient and just keep going. And just that resiliency. And also, like having like good people in your lives, like good mentors, good people that can guide you and help you.
I interview a lot of people, and many of them tend to be marketers, and they echo the story you talked about, is that engineers don't always have the best success when they try to take and run with a company because they're not people skill oriented. They're more technologically based. And so you identified right off the bat that you knew your weakness and you found the strength to bring on people that could help you in the soft skills, but also you learned them yourself, right?
Yeah. And I wouldn't limit that to just engineers. My good friend, Michael Gerber, author of E-Myth, and everyone should listen to this. If they haven't read that, you should go read it. I think it's the #1 best-selling business book of all time. He talks about the biggest failure that people have is they think that because they're good at the technical work, whether it's a guy repairing computers, whether it's, me as an engineer, whether it doesn't matter. It's like,
hey, it's doctors too.
Yeah. I think it's because you're good at the technical work, whether you're a good lawyer, good dentist, good whatever, that they assume that they'll be good in business. But what they don't realize is that there's more to business than the technical work. There's the business, there's the marketing, there's the sales, there's the finance, there's the operations, there's a deliverable, there's the on and on and on and on. So it's not just engineers, it's just everybody. and so there's many facets to a business, and most people just have no idea about it. They just think, hey, you know what? I got a product that's great. Everyone's going to buy it. I'm going to put it out there. I was working with a client, and he was very successful in his previous life, his previous business, and launched a new venture. Came to me, and he says, Chris, we're going to put out a video, and it's going to go viral. And everyone's going to, because it's such an important topic, it's going to get passed on. Every mom is going to want to see it's going to want to pass it on. I told him, I said, Steve, that's not going to happen. And he looked at me like, what do you know? It's like, well, bank that, 2 years later, he said, Chris, he goes, I've given up the ghost that we're going to do anything's going to go viral. 3 years, we took him from nothing to the largest in the world in a very competitive space, and nothing went viral. Like everyone has this fantasy that this is the one thing that's going to take off. Well, it can take off if you got a right strategy, if you got a right framework for growth, if you understand the different aspects of business, and if you've got good, like mentorship and stuff like that to help you.
Well, I can't wait to find out some of your secret sauces, but
Mhm.
lay the groundwork for why people fail. The companies that don't make it, or the ones that don't get very successful, they're doing something wrong. What do you think of the three top things that people just don't do right?
Well, and you got to understand, like over 80% of businesses fail, right? And not one of those 80% of those businesses that failed ever said that we're the one that's going to fail. The biggest failures, reasons why people fail is, from my experience, is first of all, they got no strategy. There's no framework for growth, no proven methodology that they're following. Everything is done emotionally by their seat of their pants. And, and part of the problem is, like, when you're emotional, like, emotions are great, but they're lousy leaders. Like, there's no strategic plan. Second thing is they don't stand out in a noisy crowd. Like the marketplace right now is so noisy. It's so overpopulated. It's so overcrowded. Everyone's clamoring. Everyone's saying the same thing. We're the greatest. We're the best. We're number one. We're the fastest.
It's a Me Too society right now.
Oh, it's a Me Too society. And you know what? Like, God didn't create a bunch of Me Too's. He created a bunch of individuals, a bunch of like individual people. And so, you're putting this green earth and you've got something, something special about you. Most people that fail is like when they're marketing is like, there's nothing compelling about their product or service. It's Me Too or it's bland. There's no differentiation. And then the third thing is we just touched on is that people don't understand the business. They understand the technical part, the product or the service, but they don't understand like all the needed parts to run a business that we just talked about.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. You nailed it. 3 of them. Tell me about engineered growth systems. What's your motto for your company?
Yeah, so our purpose is to help good people build great businesses. And
I like that.
And there's a second part to that, and have great lives.
And have great lives.
Yeah.
Why are we in business? To have a great life. We don't really want to have a business for the sake of saying I have a great business.
Yeah, and we don't want to sacrifice what's important to us on the altar of success. We don't want to sacrifice family. We don't want to sacrifice relationships. We don't want to sacrifice, like those things, our health on the altar of success.
Yeah. I think all of our audience is with you on that one. We have a worldwide audience, and they're listening real carefully right now because they're interested in success after business. That's one of the things that draws our audience together, is that we believe we're all going to be successful, but we want to do it on our terms, not on some company's terms.
Right.
We're building our lives, not their lives.
Yep.
Tell me the 3 success secrets that we can model from.
Yeah. So if you take the 3 failures and flip those around, then you'll have like 3 secrets. First is you got to have a strategy and a framework for growth. Like you got to have a methodology, a proven framework. You need a highly, from my experience, it's like you need a highly engineered, pragmatic, step-by-step way, to engineer, build, launch, grow, scale your business. I call that engineered growth systems. You got to have a strategic framework for growth. The second thing I would say is you got to have compelling differentiation, something that enhances your unique gifts and talents that are expressed through your product or your service. Something where people will just go like this, like, huh, that's different. I want to know more about that. And then once you have that, the third thing is you got to have a way to grab people's attention and amplify their attention. You know, where people initially give you 1 second, you got to have a way to, I call it the attention amplifier, to turn that 1 second into 3 seconds, into 30 to 60 seconds, into 5 minutes, into 15 minutes, into an hour, into an engagement, into a, et cetera, et cetera. And I've developed 3 systems, for that, and which comprise your core growth systems. So
I like that. It's like an engagement funnel. You got to grab more people's attention longer to get the whole story told. You have to be interesting.
well, and it's not. And it's not a funnel. It's understanding that there's different types of people. There's people who are cold prospects. There's people who are warm prospects. There are people who are hot prospects, and you got to talk to them all differently. You can't shove them all down the same funnel. You got to have different conversations, meet them where they're at, and then help them, meet them where they're at, and help them out, and then that will help move them along.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about the type clients and how you find them. But first, why should somebody buy from you, your services?
Yeah. So there's really 2 types of people that I help. Those that are they're frustrated, they're stuck, they're at point A wherever that is, and they want to get to point B wherever that is, and they don't know how to get there. They tried a bunch of things and nothing's worked, and they're confused or frustrated. They don't know what to do, and they don't have any time because they're busy doing everything like themselves. Everything depends upon them. So those type of people, they come to me, and we're able to help them see like really good growth, and we're able to help them extract from themselves from being the magic, so they can like buy back time and have a life while their income is growing. The second type of person is they've already got a successful business and they want to exit. They want to exit, sell the business, and they want to exit wealthy. So we help them do that.
Who's your ideal client? What kind of people are looking for your services?
Yeah, so it's as far as like revenue range, it's like we work with startups, we work with people who are doing 6 figures, 7 figures, people who are doing 8 figures. The core thing that they all have is they've got something that's really good. And it's like Chris, this is really good. We've got it to work. We've been through the like the initial stage of, and we want to take this thing, we want to make it go big. We want this thing to go big. We don't know how to do that. Those are my ideal clients, but they also have to be, they got to match our values. Our values, like we're good at what we do, and so we got to be able to get along. We have to relate. If they're just all about, like if it's like money, greed, power, stuff like that, it's not for us. We're very caring what we do. We're very deliberate. We're very talented. We're very focused, and so we got to make sure that there's a good values match that we get along. So they got to be good people too. That's where helping good people build great businesses. They got to be good people.
So culture matters.
Absolutely.
Ethics
Absolutely.
matters. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I like that. Everybody should deal with people that have good ethics and good cultures, and it makes the world spin faster and much better.
Yep.
How do you go about finding out where these clients are? What's your technique of finding them?
Yeah. So it's just kind of like identifying with yourself, like what's important to you, like what your values are, what your culture is. So then that helps you craft your message, because your message is got to be you. Once you have that, then you go through and you put together your story, your message, and then how do I find them? Well, I find them through a variety of things. Through a big fan of paid media, love paid advertising. I've worked in over 50 different paid sources, and so paid advertising through referrals, through networks, through clients, through people we have relationships with, So we go out and in a number of different channels. Like you never want to have one channel. You always want to have multiple channels to reach out to people. And you know this from your past businesses and stuff like that. You got to have different ways to get out there and find them. But it's having like a very focused message with your differentiation, and you got a values match. Because when people come to work with me, there's two things that I want. I want them to say, you know what? I like this whole like engineered growth systems. I like this whole engineered approach. I don't really understand I don't really understand what it means, but I like the idea of having a system and a pragmatic step-by-step approach to growth. The other thing is like, you know what? I like this Chris guy. I like him, you know? So I combine those two things, put those in the message, and then put the message out as far and wide as you can.
Now, you talked about platforms and doing paid advertising. Do you have any specific platforms that you rely on heavily, and even get involved with paid advertising on those?
Yeah, so I do like paid advertising. So platforms, I like Facebook, I like Google, I like LinkedIn, I like YouTube, I like Bing. Yeah, so those are as far as paid platforms, and then there's different referral networks and stuff like that you can get into. People who they like your message, they like what you're doing, and that they want to promote you to their audience. And then also obviously like people who have good relationships with, who speak to your market. You know, those are good as well.
Yeah. Speaking of paid advertising and enjoying crushing the competition, we have in our company, we have a way to save people up to 90% on paid advertising in these particular platforms, Google and LinkedIn and Facebook. So as you're listening, and as any others to this podcast are listening, if we can help you crush your competition by helping you save, that much, up to 50, 90% on your paid advertising, let me know, and I'll share with you more about that. So that's pretty much kind of something that we do. But tell me about your company's well-defined products and services. What would somebody actually get?
So we sell services, and our services is we help companies scale. We help them grow and scale, and then the ones that are ready, we help them exit. So that's our core services, and we do it better and in a way different than I think like anybody else on the planet.
Just listening to you, I believe you must do it well, do it better, because you're just believable, Chris. How do you deliver 5-star client experience?
You gotta want to like deliver a 5-star experience first of all. Like I don't like doing anything crappy. I don't like doing anything like half baked. It's like if I do something, I want to do it to the best of my ability. And so, there's a saying I heard a long time ago that I loved. If you want to sell to John Smith what John Smith buys, you have to see the world through John Smith's eyes. So that's not just from a selling; it's also from a deliverable standpoint. Like I want to make I want to make my clients' lives best, as good, as easy and as wonderful as possible. So I'm always looking for, what's important right here when we're delivering. What's their biggest problem? How can we help them alleviate their biggest problem? How can we help them with this? So look at like anticipating like all their needs and what they want, and then we design that into our deliverable and into our service. And from having been there and done that, I know what as a customer what I wanted, and so I just build that in. So and a big thing too is the technical side, but we've also got like the relational side. People love working with us. They love there's really like three real promises that when people will come to work with us. It's like, number one, it's like you're going to see your business in a whole new light. Number two is you're going to love working with us. like you're going to enjoy it. This is going to be a great experience. Number three, it's like you're going to improve your results. Whatever the results are that we've identified, you're going to improve those things. So, and we aim to please on all of those.
Yeah, I can see that. People that know and like you are going to do business with you.
Absolutely. Know you, like you, trust you, right?
All the way in that order.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I built my dental business. I wouldn't take on a client without interviewing them first. Before I looked in their mouth, I interviewed them and talked to them away from the dental chair. And, the listening and trust go hand in hand.
Yes. Amen.
How do you turn these clients into brand ambassadors now, Chris?
It's just through the experience. There's got to be a great customer experience. You got to live up to, you got to deliver what you promised you'd deliver in your marketing and your sales. You have to deliver that. And we just treat them great. We care about them. We care about their business. We care about what's important to them. And we go to work and help them accomplish the goals that we defined on and we agreed upon. And we do that and we have a relationship with them. Then they fall in love with us and can help it like refer us out to people.
Sounds to me like they're grateful that they had you come into their lives, not just their business, but their lives. They interacted and they became family. You work with family type people as a relationship.
Yep.
What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful that I've got a wife that loves me. I'm grateful that she's been with me on this journey through the ups and downs. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful that God has allowed me to have a business, that we have a country I live in where we have freedom, to grow businesses, to go, and go after what we want, and I'm grateful that doesn't matter how bad or how good, yesterday was, today's a new day.
God, family, country, it's all centered around what matters, right?
Amen.
You start your day doing what?
Well, I start off, first thing I do is, the best thing not to start your day is most people start their day by reaching for their phone and social media. That's the worst way. Best way to start, how I start my day is I open my Bible and I start reading it. And I pray, have some quiet time. And then I go downstairs and I make myself a tea in my very Canadian mug. I'm from Canada, live in California, but I'll make a tea. I'll make breakfast, and then I'll come up and I'll plan my day. What are the most important things I want to get done today? And then I go off and I start on those. So I want to start the day. See, I want to live the day getting done with what's important to move my business forward. And I don't want every distraction to come along. Either you'll control your time or something else or someone else will. So you set
you've
your
absolutely identified that for sure.
Yep.
Putting your own stamp on the day rather than letting somebody else pull all the chains.
Because strategy is great, goals are great, everything's great, but if there's no execution, if you don't execute, you'll never get anywhere. So you got to have strategy, you got to have goals, you got to have a plan, and then you got to be able to execute. And so you know what? It's like, man, I want to start my day and put all the odds in my favor.
We talked about paid digital media, but in your experience in dealing with clients, helping them, ratchet up to higher levels of productivity, what percentage of revenue do you recommend them investing in paid digital media?
Yeah, percentage of revenue is a really tough one to, and I don't think there's nobody on the planet who knows what they're doing can give a percentage on paid media, because it depends. A startup, you got no revenue, so you got to you want to put some revenue in. Companies that are in high growth mode, you want a higher percentage. I think that the better way to look at it is not what percentage of revenue, it's what's the return on your spend. If you've got a great return on your spend, why would you limit yourself based off percentage? It's like back the truck up, like if you're getting a really good return, a really good multiple on your spend, why limit yourself?
Yeah, take it to the limit. How much can you actually?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a lot of people don't think that being too busy is a problem, but it actually could be as bad or worse than being not busy enough.
Well, most people start off, they're not busy enough. And then they get busy, and then they're too busy. And, you know, I want them to have the best of both worlds. To be busy, but have a lot of time. And that's where you need the systems in. Because if you don't have the systems in, you'll be busy and you'll have no time. And a lot of people have that. And it is not fun. I'm telling you, there's two things that are maddening. One is lack of growth. Well, maybe a lack of growth over a sustained period of time. The other thing is growth with no systems. Because you think you're busy now, yeah, you might be making good income, but you got no time. You don't get to see your kids. You can't go to your kids, like a ball game or hockey game, or you can't take a vacation. You can't spend time with your wife. Man, that you can't take time away from the business. You can't take a week's vacation, 2 weeks. That's not fun.
Yeah, there's no exit strategy from the work. You need it. You need it.
Mhm.
You need a weekly exit strategy, not just one at the end of your career.
Yeah.
What about your time in business? You got 31 years or so in it. What do you think you'll do? When do you plan your exit? What's your long-term goal?
Yeah, good question. I was talking with a client, extremely successful wealth advisor, and he's like, Chris, he goes, what I would do is I would just counsel people. I go, but you already do that in your business. He's counseled me over the years. He goes, I know, and he goes, I love my business, and that's kind of how I am. Like, I don't know if I would stop doing what I'm doing because, like, I love what I do. I love helping good people build great businesses. I love business. To me, it's like playland. Growing businesses it's fun, and helping people is fun. I love it, and I love the counseling and the coaching and the helping and the teaching part. I love that part of it, and I work that into a lot of my programs. So we do like individual client work, and we also have like programs
Mhm.
where we have like groups of people and small teams, and we've got great like relationships and dynamics in there. It's like, why would I want to stop that? I can't. Most 75% of business owners regret selling their business because they've got nothing that they want to do after that. So, like, when you love what you do, and I'm very grateful that that I have that. When you love what you do, it's like, why retire? You know, as you go along, you change the rules, and you change, like what you're involved with. But if, like, man, I don't know if I will retire because I love it.
I kind of mirror that thought. Early on, I decided dentistry was not enough for me, so I started teaching dentistry after about 6 or 7 years in practice, and I taught all around the world different systems that I developed and was good at. And then I enjoyed the technical for a number of 20 years or so, but I tired and wanted to move into other things, so I got into leadership, communication, management,
Hmm.
and marketing. So I started teaching a whole new different area, and did that for 20 years. And now I retired from dentistry, and I'm now working in the IT field. And Influencers podcast is just an offshoot of working in IT, finding out about good programs that we found out about. So you
And,
never
and,
stop.
and yeah, and you enjoy it, right?
It's fun.
So,
And I'm building
so
other people's business. Same thing
yeah,
you're doing.
yeah. So it's like, if it's fun, why stop? And then the other thing too is like, it's like when you're entrepreneurial, like, you can't not do anything. You can't just sure you know
So
sure you take a break, and you garden and walk and take some trips and learn how to golf, but you got to have something to do. You got to fuel your mind.
yeah, COVID cured me. When I had to stay home for 6 weeks, they forced us not to go to work. I
Mhm.
found out that retirement was not going to be sitting at home.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me, what would you give advice to yourself, talking back to your 20-year-old self?
That's a good one. I would tell. Well, I don't know if my 20-year-old self would listen to me. Um, I got kids that age. But yeah, I would tell myself, you know what, Chris, like, set your goals and go after them. Like, like, don't, because I let self doubt and bad self talk like come into my life too much. and it slowed me down too much, I just say, no, you know what, man, just get after it. Get after it every day. Get up and get after it. You're gonna have all these things, all these fears, all these doubts, but you know what? Get after it. Plug yourself into people who can like mentor you and help you and coach you. That's so important, and encourage you. And then just get after it every day. Just get after it.
No reason not to get after it. Take action. That's one of our main actions that we do is tell people to take action, get that boldness, that 5 seconds of boldness, and just go for it.
Yep,
Do you have a living mentor, somebody that's impactful to you?
I do. Yeah, Guy Baker. Gosh, the impact he's had. How many hours do you have? You know, he's helped me in my business. He helped me, you know, after a major crash. That's actually when we met. He helped me put me back on my feet again. He's helped me with myself. He's helped me with my marriage. He's helped me with my family. He's helped me with my kids. He's helped me with relationships. He's helped me financially. He's helped me with business. He's helped me. You know, it's like I can't say enough good things about him. The impact that he's had, and everything to him is just water off a duck's back. You know, and I'm like, I want to be like that. You know, but then when problems come up, my wife reminds me, it's like, well, you said you want to be like that. but yeah, he's like what I want to be when I grow up.
What is his profession?
He's a wealth advisor.
Okay. So somebody that's been put in your path and who you rely on heavily. That's
Yeah.
important. So he's
Yes.
not just a single one trick pony. Doesn't sound like to me.
No, he's very successful. He's got a very successful business, and you never know it from talking to him. He's just the most humble, down to earth guy.
Why is being impactful important to you?
You know, it's probably not going to be the answer you want, but I don't really care about being impactful at all. I don't. It doesn't matter if I'm impactful or not. What I want to do is I want to use my God-given talents to the best of my ability, and I want to help good people build great businesses. Now, if I can help influence them, and help them to make good choices and live a good life and have a business that helps other people and have a great marriage and a great family, that's what I want. If I'm not, see, it's, if you're out to be impactful, I think you'll have the opposite. If you're out to create value and help people, I think as an end result, you'll get impact.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just semantics that you don't want to impact people. I think doing your job, as you explained it so well, you are impacting people. You're doing it by helping them have successful businesses, which leads to a successful life, a godly, family-centered life.
Yeah.
What about being remembered? Do you have a legacy that you want to leave behind?
Yeah, I do. It's like, I picture that, like, and everyone, like, should picture that. It's like, all right, like, what would people say standing around your grave? And what would the eulogy be? And so me, it's like I want to be remembered for. It's like, what? Here's a guy who was like, he was a good guy. He was a good husband. He loved his wife. He loved his kids. He did his best to honor God with the gifts and talents that he was given. And he loved people and he helped people out.
How can we?
Yeah, and it's like, what, they like, I heard someone say that if you have, there's 6 pallbearers, right, for a casket. It's like, if you can have 6 pallbearers who are happy to do that, you've lived a good life. So I want to have 6. I want 6 pallbearers.
6 people that will carry the weight.
6 people to carry the weight.
Hey, how about your business, your company? How can we support you and reach you? If somebody wants to talk to you, how do they get in touch?
Yeah, so if they want to get in touch with me, you can go to my website, Chris, CHRIS, Goegan, GOEGAN.com. And then there's a number of resources on there too. If people are looking for some more resources and some stuff like that, they have some like free guides, stuff like that can help out. And yeah, so it's like if there's people out there who want growth, who are struggling to get it, and they don't know how to get there, and they got something really good that they want to take out, then yeah, they can introduce us, and we could have a conversation and see how we can help them. See which one of our programs can help them the best.
All right. Thanks for sharing that.
Mhm.
And tell us about your experience on the show today.
I think like Dr. Bill is like you've got such a great business background and such a wealth of experience, and you're a good family guy, and I know you're excited to see your son, like after we get off this, it's like, like you make it a very comfortable experience.
Thanks. We appreciate you being on the show. You've done excellent to explain how you do business. I'm really tuned in to the technical part of what you do. Your engineering background is really something that I focus with because I'm a doctor. I work by systems, and I know that if you have somebody that's in the systems business, they're going to never lead you astray. That's one of the things about engineers. They always give you the straight and narrow, and it's going to work because they won't put a system together that fails. So that's pretty much it. So I want to give you the final word and let you speak to our audience.
Yeah. So, if you got something inside of you, just remember life's a journey. It's not a sprint. Like my journey took a lot of twists and turns from how it started to where it is. Um, it wasn't exactly the way I thought it would be. And it's not a straight line. It's a herky jerky, road to success. So, have something that you're passionate about, something that you love. Make sure that there's a market for it, and then just get after it. Every day, get after it. Have and feed your brain with good stuff. Put some good stuff in your head. Focus. On like read your Bible, pray, and just get after it. Like take what you've been blessed with, and just bring it out to people, and learn. So that's it.
Thanks, Chris. Great job. As always, I enjoyed interviewing you today on the podcast. Influencers Podcast always brings out the best people around the U.S. and Canada, and you certainly been one of the most interesting. I do appreciate what you've done for us today. Now, for all you guys in the audience, if you're listening in and you like Chris, go to his website. If you want to check me out, go to my business card here, ovu.me at ONPASSIVE. There, you'll see that this QR code up above will get you to this same place. And there's really two things on there I want you to know. I want you to be able to find out where all the influencers podcasts live. They're on YouTube, but they're also on this website, drbillwilliams.tv. You'll find all the books I've written in my bio and all the things I've done, including the current thing I'm doing, which is working with AI technology and systems that are state of the art. And so go to otrim.co/drbillw, and you'll be able to see things like OTrack'em. OTracker is a system to track all websites, all the best Google Analytics type things you're looking for, a lot more advanced and a lot cheaper than the things you can get on other analytic programs. So check it out. And when you go to these different websites that I've got for you, connect with me, and I'll be glad to interview you on the Influencers Podcast if you're interested. I'll also be able to share with you what this AI technology can do for you. It'll save you time and money. So, Chris, thanks again for being on the program, and I look forward to many more conversations with you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Bill, and thank you for allowing me to help.
All right. That's it for the weekend. We're going to head into Saturday, Sunday. I'm going up to Charlotte, North Carolina. Be back Monday to do more Influencers Podcast. You guys take care.